So monitors off, chapter 4. In chapter 3 we talked about CSS and lists. And I hope you guys are working through it. CSS is very, very, very important. Knowing how to use CSS, knowing how to tell the difference between an embedded style and an external style, and how to redefine CSS tags to your advantage. That is one of the major points in chapter 3. And I always find it unfortunate because it's fairly early in the book to introduce CSS. Okay, so you need to be very careful. CSS is actually very complex, but for some reason they introduce it pretty fast in here. But we are here on chapter 4, and remember that in this quarter we're shooting for chapter 6 to be done with chapter 6. Okay, so given that we are in almost mid-March, and then we have all the testing coming along, we really don't have much time. When you join Web 2, I start you guys in chapter 7 right off the bat. Okay, and then we finish the book. So we need to hit chapter 6, and that's what I'm going for. So chapter 4 is about working with images. And a lot of you guys already have images in your website, okay? And that's a good thing. But in chapter 4, there are 4 lessons, and they talk about different things you can do with images. Lesson 1, in inserting images and aligning text with images. So yesterday we saw in Austin's website, he had a picture there, and he had text right next to it on the same line, in a neat fashion. So we're going to see that in lesson 1. On lesson 2, chapter 4, we're going to look at the tools that are built in Dreamweaver that allow you to actually enhance images. In chapter, and by the way, and adding alternate text, again, using tools that will make your website more handicap accessible. I'm going to go to Croches. Oh no, Croches may be a little too far ahead. Let's see if we have... Yeah, I'm going to try Croches. On lesson 3, we're going to look at inserting background images and working on site maintenance. And site maintenance is extremely important because Dreamweaver has tools built in that will tell you which pieces of your website are actually broke, and where they are, and how to deal with those things. And finally, on lesson 4, we're going to look at how you can use built-in graphic enhancements that come with Dreamweaver. So let's go through lesson 1 first. Lesson 1 is fairly simple. You have a page, and you want to insert an image. Let's take a look at, I think it's in activities that you have that. Or maybe, Crouch, Stripe Umbrella activity is empty. About us, maybe? Look at this, Crouch. What's up?
I don't know. It works on my computer.
Here. On Jake's website, I'm going to preview this on Chrome. Hopefully it's going to pop up the right way. And I don't have the dependent files, apparently, so I have broken links. I think this is pointing to a location where I can't really reach from my Dreamweaver on that computer. But it's okay, because that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make here is that you see, when you insert a picture, by default, in Dreamweaver, you are able to, you can't just have a new page. Here, Crouch, I want to insert a new page in here, okay? New file. All right. So the normal process to insert a picture is to go to the Insert panel, click on that little Insert dialog box. Dreamweaver is going to ask you, what do you want to insert in here? You're going to go find something. And then it gives you a dialog box asking if you want to insert any alternate text. And alternate text, I'm jumping this ahead, but alternate text is what screen readers will actually read for the handicapped people, or for people with disabilities, or the web browser is going to display the alternate text in case you have set your browser not to download multimedia elements such as pictures, or alternate text is the caption that pops up when you mouse over a picture and let it sit for half a second. Okay? So these are the uses for alternate text. Is usually on a picture you would explain what the picture is. So I'm not going to put any right now just for the sake of time. I'll just put popo just so I have something in there. Okay? Once I insert the alternate text, the picture comes in and it has this sizing handles in here. On the property inspector, you're going to see that these are properties for the picture itself. One of the things is you're familiar with is where is it coming from? Alternate text, but you can also make an image element a link somewhere. You also get the special things on the bottom here. We're not going to deal with them now other than the alignment box. The alignment box tells you is on the default shape that if I start typing right now, okay? If I start typing right now, this object is on this line of text. It's sitting on top of it. If I keep typing around, the text is going to go over, it's going to wrap around and start in the bottom. Okay? But there's a way you can change that to make your text look like this. When your text actually starts, instead of starting here, it starts at the top of the line. You're also going to notice that I have another picture here, and the text is wrapping from here, continuing on this paragraph, but in this paragraph, the text in relation to the image is aligned on this side. So how do you do that? Is using this align. You need to select the image. How do you know it's selected? When you see the outline and the sizing handles. This align dialog box on the bottom here is going to give you several choices in here. The ones that you're going to use are going to be the left and the right. Okay? You can try and play with these other ones. But and they're all going to do slightly different things depending on the browser that you're using or the content that the image is actually relative to. Okay, it gets a little too complicated for this class. We don't want to worry about the rest. We want to concentrate about the left and the right ones that you're going to be using. If you use left, what do you think is going to do? Align the text left in relation to the picture. Let's take a look. If I click on left, where is the picture? To the left of the text. Okay? If I choose right, what do you think it's going to do? Exactly. Okay? So this is what's happening here. If you look at the code view, you're going to see that, that there's a new piece on the HTML tag in here. HTML tag for images, by the way, they contain information as far as where is it coming from. The reason why you can see in this document here, I don't have those files. Those files are broken links. But how does the Dreamweaver know the size of this gray box as a placeholder for something? Because on image insertion HTML tag, the information comes not only with alternate text, but also with the dimensions in pixels of the picture source. That's how Dreamweaver knows how big it is. And then it makes, if the link is actually broke, if you can't find this file on this place here, it's going to just put a gray box on this sizes. And then finally, to the point here, I have the alignment option on that tag as well. Okay, so these are all things Dreamweaver is going to do. What is the align option for this image? Right or left? Right. What about this one? Throughout this page, you're going to be creating, actually there's only 2 of them. I thought there were more. Later on in the book, you're going to have more. Ideally, this is not something that I encourage using too much. And the reason being is this. If I, your pictures are going to look okay. And by the way, look at this. This is the alternate text. Your pictures are going to be looking okay this way. The problem with me not liking using this right and left alignment option is that if I resize this browser window, the content changes dynamically. So there's really no way for you to tell as a web designer where your text is going to look, how your page is going to look like if the elements are shifting depending on the window size. You have very little control and say in terms of what your web page looks like if the user is being silly and having a small window than what you intended it to be. Okay? There are better ways of controlling layout of pictures and text other than using this default HTML tags options that you have there. And we're going to learn them later, but this is basically what this is.